How's it going, YouTube? It's your boy Toss today, coming at you with another deck profile update. Today I'm bringing you Invoked Eldlich Dogmatika, and I know it's been a minute since I brought out the Invoked Eldlich, and I'm a little sick today, so excuse the voice, but I'm just going to get into the deck profile, and I'm going to explain some of the things about it as I go through, and then I'll give you kind of my thoughts at the end of the video. So to start off the list, I've got triple Magical Meltdown and the Terraforming, the triple Alistairs, and the two Invocations. This is the standard 9 card invocation or invoked uh, package. Sorry. Two Cursed Eldland, two Eldritch, the Golden Lord, triple Sanguine, and triple Conquistador. This is pretty much your entire Eldritch package right here, all 10 cards of it. I'm only running two Cursed Eldland. I don't think you need the 3 currently. I think the deck is consistent as it is in terms of like getting to your Eldritch. It's not as important to get to your Eldritch for combo like it used to be. Like before, it used to be like you get to Alistair and Eldritch specifically so you can get to Makaba, Verte, and get to like Dragoon or DPE, and then make end of your plays. But now you don't really have to do that anymore. Like with Verte banned, you can't do that anymore. So the idea is that like your goal is to get to Makaba, but also to play into your Dogmatika cards. So the Eldritch is there to coincide with your Dogmatika package. As much as it is to be there for Makaba and then to make some other cards. 3 Nadir Servant, 1 Ecclesia, 1 Maximus, 1 Fleur-de-Lis, 1 Punishment, and 1 Schism. These are your Dogmatica cards. This is the Dogmatica package in general, but it's simplified. I don't think you need more than 1 Ecclesia. In the current time frame where Bestials are limited to, not limited, but like people don't touch them as much, or if they do, it's specifically for their combo. There's no real need to run Ecclesia at more than 1 because it's recyclable from the graveyard with Nadir Servant, and then same thing with Surgery and Maximus. Um, because they're recyclable out of the Nadir Servant, there's no real point in running multiples, and then each one of these is a target really for Ecclesia from the deck. So the idea is that like one the servant will get Ecclesia to Maximus, the other one will get Ecclesia to Punishment, and then typically you're gonna get Titanic Lad to get to Fleur-de-Lis, but then you can recycle Fleur-de-Lis with the last one if you want to like mathematically play it out. And then the Schism is just there because you use an Avcolon to add Schism and then make window with it in Titanic Lad. Obviously to window lock your opponent. For hand traps, I run triple Emperor, triple Ash Blossom, and triple Lancia. I think these are the best hand traps next to Nibiru right now. And the only reason why I'm not maining Nibiru is because I like the idea of Lancia being graveyard fodder. I like the bonus of being able to set Lancia for your Eldritch, being able to have that bonus ability to send it for cross for Eldritch. If you're playing against a deck that doesn't do a lot of banishing, or if you're trying to push for game, is really important. I think that is all very good, and I think as a going second card, this does more to stop Kashtira than Nibiru does. Because with at least with Nibiru, they still do their combos, they still lock out stuff, they still banish your cards. With this, you can typically stop them from getting to a Rise Heart at all, and then still lock them and still like have some cards in the field that don't benefit them at all. And then Ash is just Ash, and then Imperm is just Imperm. Like they're just really good and should be played. For the last 6 cards, these are just cards that let you play through boards and help you maintain game states. 3 Super Poly, 2 Triple Attack, and 1 Call by the Grave. I wish this card was at more than 1 currently because of the way the Ash Blossom and the hand traps are, but it's definitely pretty powerful and necessary. And then triple tactics is really good because you can also force it to be live with a rise heart because it's a mandatory effect. For the extra deck, it's really simple. We can blow through some of it. For the most part, Almirage and Secure Guard are necessary for Invoked when you're doing the Dogmatika package. Specifically like these two, but you can, if you weren't running Dogmatika, you could drop these for an Artemis, which was the old way that you would do it. And old Invoked Eldlich, the way that you did it is normal summon Alistair, get your invocation, normal summon Artemis, invocation with Eldlich and Alistair for Makaba, send, bring back Eldlich, link Eldlich and Artemis for Verte. Verte, send material, make Dragoon, and then that way you're sitting on Dragoon, Makaba, and then a Verte on the field that you didn't really have to protect, and then 3 cards, which were typically like any sort of back row. But in this current phase, because you have to run Dogmatica to get to the window package, and I think that keeps this deck for the most part alive. You have to use these two in tandem because the Almirage is how you get Maximus. One BLS link because it's Eldritch and because some of the side deck options make this a lot more viable of a card to play in the main extra deck. One link Garibo. Ibli is a floodgate that a lot of people are playing now, and it's annoying, so you have to play the link Garibo. If you didn't have to do that, then I wouldn't play it. 2 Makava, 1 Caliga, 1 Purgatrio, and 1 Agoides for your invoked fusions. I'm not playing Ragin, which hurts, and I think that Ragin is definitely worth a slot, especially because Unicorn's a card, and because a lot of wind attribute cards are falling off, so like you have a very specific target for Super Poly with it, and outing and like specifically it's part of the best deck, so it's really good to be able to out the Unicorn, but I don't think you have the extra deck room for it, and I'll explain as we go through a little bit more. Because these Super Poly targets are Soaring Venom and Mudragon, and these 2 cards in tandem I think are great. You could probably cut the Mudragon for Raging. I haven't had the time to test it yet, being sick, but I think that's probably the best option to cut. But I also think that if you're going to run through Super Poly, you need at least 2 targets in the deck aside from your invoked stuff. So I kind of don't want to cut the Mudragon, but I also don't run Garura, so it's probably for the best. 1 Avcalone and 1 Winda for the Shadal Schism combo. 1 Intis and 1 Titanic Lad to round out your Dogmatika cards. And then that is your extra deck. Going into the side deck is I'm gonna give this disclaimer just because I kind of been doing it in most of my deck profiles recently, but just to reiterate it, side decks are almost always relevant to specifically the event or specifically to the locals that you play at. So things that work in my extra deck don't always work in everybody's extra deck or side deck. Sorry. But in to be blunt though, some of the cards in this deck are specifically catered towards some of the side deck options, and I'll talk about them as they come up. But it's not very so you don't have to copy the side deck, but I still think it's important to go through it. 3 Book Eclipse. I think everybody is at least maining or siding this card, and it's for good reason. I play 1 Twin Twister and 1 Duster. I had 1 open slot in the side deck, and I wanted to dedicate it to back row removal, so I'm playing Twin Twisters. This could also be Cosmic Cyclone. This could also be evenly matched. This could be plenty of other things. I just think with Lancia going around, evenly matched is good, but not as necessary. 1 Change of Heart and 1 Mind Control. These are the 2 big side deck options that I was talking about earlier. These options are really good for against Kashtira if you hand trap them and then end up stealing one of their higher level names. You can get BLS to its point where it can't be targeted. you can steal stuff and then still make BLS. Like, it's very good to be able to help skip that level of going into Secure Gardener and then having that layer of protection where you can steal cards with these two from your opponent and then get rid of them via linking. Triple Draw and Lockbird is a little contentious in the format currently. A lot of people aren't playing this card, but I think against Kashiras and against some branded decks this is very good, and then against some tier one decks it's okay, but Labyrinth is not one of them. Um, Contact C is a card I've been testing here and there. Kashira hates this card. And I think this is very good. And then Branded has to play Sprint, or they don't, or Sprint the Iron Dash Dragon, or they can't out this without using their Guardian Chimera, which is a one of currently. So they have to out it with that, and they can only really do that with like three monsters or three cards. But then they have to waste their resources doing that instead of using those valuable fusions to um to make the stuff like Rinbrom and whatnot. And then the last card is a 3 of Nibiru, because Nibiru is really powerful. And the only reason why I don't main it is because of the Lancia. Um, or really, it's mostly deck room, but because like of Lancia, I don't want to main too many hand traps that they don't clash, but there's just if I main too many hand traps that are monsters, or don't have enough versatility to them, then things kind of go sideways. Like Lancia is good because it can make Makaba, but it also can help you get into your Eldlich plays. Lancia also has protection against the biggest threats to your deck, which are like Bestials and Kashtira, because it prevents them from getting to their Macrocosmos, which is their biggest threat to your deck at all, because half your deck needs the graveyard to be functional. Um, versus Nibiru, that if it gets negated by something, or if they set up any kind of negate, then before like mid combo, then say like Punk Kashtira, then at least you can know when you're playing against Punk Kashtira, when you see the tuner in the level 7 to instantly drop the Lancia to halt their play, and then you just have to play through like a Barone usually, instead of having to play through a Barone, a Macrocosmos, lock zones, and stuff, right? So it's a little bit more insurance, I think, to side the Nibiru than it is to main it. Um, and then same thing with the Book of Eclipse. Like I don't main the Book of Eclipse, but most people aren't main decking the Ra's Disciple or main decking the Iblis. They're usually siding it because that way they can know what specific decks to hit with them. Ra's Disciple and Edo are a little more open, but and then same thing with that weird gimmick puppet that I've been seeing people play. But but yeah, so that is my list for Invoked Eldlich. There was an argument made before that I talked about to make Invoked Eldlich branded, because you can run stuff like Fusion Deployment, but one of the key issues was the one of the thoughts was that you can run fusion deployment with the Eldritch fusion, which you can't. They actually proved it against that, because it's just an Eldritch monster that you need, which is such a weird caveat, thinking that there will be other Eldritch monsters. But just little things like that that are interesting to go off of. Same thing with Cursed Eldland. We there's no golden land spells. There's only traps, and the golden cursed element specifically states you can add a golden land spell or a trap. So the idea is like future proofing the card to like or like hinting at future stuff. But it's it's been a few years since Secret Slayers that we haven't gotten anything. So I'm staying hopefully optimistic. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this deck profile, please leave a thumbs up and comment below. It means so much when you guys interact with me. And having that community interaction means a lot. So I definitely like that. If you have any questions about the deck, feel free to comment below. Like any questions about specific cards, why I'm playing them or why not playing them, like something I didn't cover. Please feel free to ask below. Like Ghost Spell, why not run Ghost Spell? And it's just currently not as good, I think, in the meta. So we can discuss that. Uh, Anyway, I said it before, but I'll say it again. Thank you for watching, guys. You have a good one. Peace.